No way! I can't believe this! All systems, full power!
Good evening. Happy Halloween. Hello, NCR. Hello, Backme. Thank you for waiting while I got a cup of tea. Jump scare. Well, tonight is the night for it. I hope you're both doing well. Thank you for the reminder, NCR, for me to disable Eggman for the night. When I walked in and saw your redeems, hopefully you got enough of them. I have disabled all alerts, but I forgot about Eggman, as I always do. You got your Eggman before Dr. Robotnik was thrown into the abyss, never to be heard from again. No Eggman jump scares today. But today shall be a reading stream. What would probably hurt the vibes. And when I start reading a story today, I decided I will do my best to not stop until the story is done. If there are alerts, or if Eggman is around, that puts a dampener on the story. So that's why I've turned them all off. You'll still see yourselves appear on the screen, but their sound has been muted. Ready for things for lurking for now. Have fun, honey. Thank you. Good luck with getting ready. Hope you have a wonderful Halloween. I'm not sure how long I'll be able to go on for today. I seem to have been picking up my housemate's illness, as they have been coughing and spluttering for the last few days, and I have been doing the same today. It's like, oh no, it's not so good. My voice kind of coarse. I've been drinking water and tea all day. But who knows, maybe the coarseness will add to the stories a little. So, here's the thing. SCP stories. I have no experience whatsoever with SCP. That is secure, contain, protect for those like me that are uninitiated. I did source some good stories from a man that I knew was definitely in the know. It is Sleepless. You know, I've not even let the Discord know that I'm streaming. Whoops. So I asked Sleepless whether or not he had any suggestions, and he certainly did. I started reading them today, in fact, because of course I left it to the last minute. But it's very clinical, isn't it? I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the reading, or like the style of writing, but I understand why they did so. So we'll see. We'll certainly read a couple, if not more. As I have these suggestions open in tabs. And I said I would, so I'm gonna. Live now for the Halloween story stream. Pumpkin. Simone. Hello, and welcome in. They vary a lot in quality. Are you familiar with SCP stories as well, NCR? But you have more experience with it than I, then. But I do have a little scene set up. Some are great, some not so much. Yes. With the many thousands of stories, if not hundreds of thousands, that have been submitted to this wiki. Maybe hundreds of thousands is pushing it. They're not all going to be winners. That's why I've leaned so hard on someone that actually does know a bit. But if you or anybody else that is here today has suggestions for any spooky stories, I will happily listen. We could always start with the classics, right? Like SCP-137, perhaps the most well-known CP. It was certainly the first one that I had ever heard of in the day. Since then, it's been like 8 years, and there have been a lot more stories to come out. I do have one from the early days that I do like the idea of more than 137. And that is SCP-035. So we may start with that one today. Hello, Sleepless. Welcome in. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Just need to order my tabs. There we are. Okay. Let us fade out with this jovial lo-fi music, even if it's a little bit Halloween-y. And instead, bring in a little bit more ambiance. This was a horror stream after all. Okay. So I believe I will start with SCP-035. And you weren't here for, I don't imagine, Sleepless, but if you have any other suggestions that pop up, CP or otherwise, read. No! What? Why is this what? Why? What? We're back. I'll happily hear your suggestions. Perfect. Right. Let's move that up here. Move this into the corner. Diana Smythe. Hello. Alright. Okay. No. Pengu. No ads. Although we haven't started. No ads, Pengu. It will take away all rewards. So they came for the Eggman. Alright, okay, alright. I gotta start reading, otherwise we'll never start. Here's the thing. Alright, how about this? Any redemptions that happen, at time or otherwise, we'll do between stories. Deal? Alright. Without further ado, let us begin. SCP-035. Object Class Kita. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-035 is to be kept within a hermetically sealed glass case, no fewer than 10 centimeters or 4 inches thick. This case is to be contained within a steel, iron, and lead-shielded room at all times. Doors are to be triple locked at all times, with the exception of allowing personnel in or out. No fewer than 2 armed guards are to be posted at any time. Guards must remain outside at all times and are not allowed within the containment room under any circumstances. A trained psychologist is to remain on site at all times. Research personnel are not to touch SCP-035 at any time. SCP-035 must be moved to a new sealed case every 2 weeks. Previous case must be disposed of via SCP-101, as it shows no adverse reactions to SCP-035's corruption. Anyone who comes into contact with SCP-035 when it is in possession of a host is to be given an immediate psychological evaluation. Description: SCP-035 appears to be a white porcelain comedy mask, although at times it will change to tragedy. In these events, all existing visual records, such as photographs, video footage, even illustrations of SCP-035, automatically change to reflect its new appearance. Highly corrosive and degenerative viscous liquid constantly seeps from the eye and mouth holes of SCP-035. Anything coming into contact with this substance slowly decays over a period of time, depending on the material, until it has decayed completely into a pool of the original contaminant. Glass seems to react the slowest to the effects of the item, hence the construction choice of its immediate container. Living organisms that come into contact with the substance react much the same way, with no chance of recovery. Origin of the liquid is unknown. Liquid is only visible from the front and does not emerge or is even visible from the other side. Subjects within 1.5 to 2 meters of SCP-035 or in visual contact with it experience a strong urge to put it on. When SCP-035 is placed on the face of an individual, an alternate brainwave pattern from SCP-035 overlaps that of the original host, effectively snuffing it out and causing brain death to the subject. Subject then claims to be the consciousness contained within SCP-035. The bodies of possessed subjects decay at a highly accelerated rate, eventually becoming little more than mummified corpses. Nevertheless, SCP-035 has demonstrated the ability to remain in cognitive control of a body experiencing severe structural damage. Even if the subject's body literally decays to the point where motion is not mechanically possible, No effect is found to be had when placed on the face of an animal. Conversations with SCP-035 have proven to be informative. Researchers have learned various details about other SCP objects and history in general, as SCP-035 claims to have been at many momentous events. SCP-035 displays a highly intelligent and charismatic personality, being both amiable and flattering to all those who speak with it. SCP-035 has scored in the 99th percentile on all intelligence and aptitude tests administered to it, and appears to have a photographic memory. However, psychological analysis has discovered SCP-035 to possess a highly manipulative nature, capable of forcing sudden and profound changes to interviewers' psychological state. SCP-035 has proven to be highly sadistic, prompting some to commit suicide, and transforming others into near mindless servants with linguistic persuasion alone. SCP-035 has stated that it has intimate knowledge of the workings of the human mind, and implied that it could change anyone's views if given enough time. Additional, SCP-035 was found in a sealed crypt in an abandoned house in Venice in 18... redacted. Addendum 03501. SCP-035 has been found to be able to possess anything that has a humanoid shape, including mannequins, corpses, and statues. SCP-035 has been able to motivate all into movement, removing the need to expose live subjects to SCP-035. Still, anything it possesses inevitably decays into motionlessness. Addendum 03502. SCP-035 has facilitated an escape attempt, convincing several of the research staff to aid it in its bid for freedom. Insurrection failed. All staff that have been in contact with SCP-035 have been terminated, and mandatory psychiatric evaluations have been implemented for all personnel coming in contact with SCP-035. Addendum 03503. It has been determined that SCP-035 is capable of telepathy, whether or not it possesses a host, even penetrating to the subconscious of others, and using the knowledge it finds to its advantage. Extreme caution is advised when choosing subjects to converse with SCP-035. Addendum 03504. SCP-035 has expressed an interest in other SCPs, most notably SCP-4715 and SCP-682. Dr. Redacted has expressed worry that should SCP-035 bond with either, their regenerative qualities would negate its corruption and give it a permanent host. Addendum 03505. After several more escape attempts, and after reviewing SCP-035's incident record, High Command has ordered that it be permanently sealed within the facility, and prohibited from being allowed any more hosts. Several personnel have protested against this, with some even erupting into violence. As a direct result, All personnel that have come into contact with SCP-035 have been terminated. Going forward, all personnel that deal with SCP-035 are to be rotated frequently, and contact is to be limited, even to its dormant state, to as little as possible. Addendum 03506. Personnel within 10 meters of SCP-035 have recently reported feeling unease, stating that they can hear unintelligible whispering. Several others have suffered from severe migraines. Object has been monitored, but there is no change in its dormant behavior. No sounds have been recorded. The motion to reinstate SCP-035's host privileges has been brought up once more, if only on a temporary basis, to discover these new changes in the object's behavior. Denied. Addendum 03507. The walls of SCP-035's containment cell have suddenly begun secreting a black substance. Tests on the substance have revealed it to be human blood. Although highly contaminated with several foreign and unknown agents, substance is corrosive, having a pH of 4.5, and prolonged exposure to the walls has proven to be detrimental to their structural integrity. More notably, it seems to be forming patterns on the walls. Several segments seem to be paragraphs in various languages, including Italian, Latin, Greek, and Sanskrit. Translation is pending. Other segments appear to be diagrams depicting ritualistic sacrifice and mutilation, often for the arcane benefit of the person committing them. Several staff members have been shocked to note that all of the sacrifices bear an uncanny resemblance to various personnel and their loved ones, often in conflicting positions. Researchers, while in the room examining these newly formed patterns, have complained of hearing loud whispering and high-pitched, unnerving laughter at irregular intervals. Personnel in the section working daily near and around SCP-035's containment unit have suffered catastrophic morale damage, with an all-time high in suicide rates in staff in that area, whether or not they have ever had contact with SCP-035. The only change in SCP-035's dormant behavior is regarding its contained glass case. Degradation of the case has increased to a high degree, enough so that the glass will occasionally shatter, causing a wide dispersal of SCP-035's containment. Contaminant. This occurs quite often at the most inopportune times, so far resulting in 6 casualties and 3 fatalities of both research and cleanup staff. Addendum 03508. In light of the mass suicide-homicide of the members of the research team tasked with translating the passages garnered from SCP-035's containment cell, the morale damage in the area and general loss of staff dealing with SCP-035 to either death or insanity, it has been decided to coat the inner and outer walls of its containment cell with SCP-148, which has proved well in the containment of SCP-132. See document 13201. In order to hopefully block out the high levels of negativity being emitted by SCP-035. Addendum 035-9. The use of SCP-148 has worked well, causing morale and suicide rates to return to near pre-SCP-035 rates. However, the material appears to facilitate the negativity within the cell, causing a veritable greenhouse effect inside. Personnel inside the cell have stated that they feel a heavy sense of dread, fear, anger, and general depression, as well as hearing constant, nearly inaudible whispering upon immediate entry. A prolonged stay causes severe migraines, suicidal tendencies, heavy hemorrhaging of blood vessels around the eyes and inside the mouth and nose, general hostility to others, and for the whispering to increase to almost deafening volumes, intersected by a constant mocking laughter. Exposure of more than 3 hours inevitably results in the subject falling into a deep psychosis and attempting to harm either themselves or others. Most spoke in Latin or Greek, despite the fact that several did not previously know how to speak said languages beforehand. The presence of blood in both word and diagram formations has increased disproportionately, the walls becoming cluttered, and the formations beginning to overlap each other. The substance has proven to be both difficult to clean and even more corrosive than was originally recorded, with a pH of roughly 2.4. General estimation gives the current walls a life of 2 months before they will need replacement. It is becoming gradually more and more difficult to contain SCP-035. The debate to reinstate its host privileges has once again come up. Denied. Addendum 03510. The walls, ceiling, and floor of SCP-035's containment cell have now been completely saturated in blood. All personnel entering and guarding the area must wear full hazmat protection suits. Constant cleaning efforts are being instated. Addendum 03511. The magnitude, intensity, and recurrence of the phenomena that occur within SCP-035's containment cell have increased to an alarming degree. The cell door has been known to become locked of its own accord while personnel are inside, and unable to be opened for a period of time. Appendages form out of the larger puddles of blood and often attempt to grab or harm personnel near them. Blurry apparitions have started appearing to staff. Electronic devices no longer work inside the cell, and the light cannot be turned on, though there is no physical reason why it does not work, forcing those entering to use non-electric based light sources. Cleaning measures are having no discernible effect on the cell, and the walls are degrading at a very high rate, forcing them to be replaced within a week at best, although the blood makes it nearly impossible to properly achieve this. SCP-035 may have to be moved to a new cell entirely, with the old one sealed off and disengaged from the rest of the facility. Ooh. Spooky. That is the end of SCP-035. I think between stories, I'm always going to switch to this screen, so people know that I'm no longer reading. I can actually have a drink. Cozy spooks. Oh, well, ideally. But hello, Paxlax, if you're still here. Apologies. Should anyone come in for the first time, while I'm reading a story, if you all could let them know that whilst reading, I'm not gonna stop, that would be wonderful. You could set up a command, maybe. I don't know. I shall take this task. Oh, NCR, that's very kind of you. Thank you. Oh. Okay, so that was SCP-035, story number 1. And that took us maybe 25 minutes to get through. That wasn't even one of the long ones. Okay. So, I have currently open, at least. I understand the importance of not cutting the story. Thank you, Paxlax. I hope you're having a good day. I currently have open 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other stories. Hello. Actually, which one is that? Oh. You. Hold on. Ah, right, that one is listening post. 3, 4. Okay. Listening post. I'm just writing that down so I have it. Phone. I think it's listening post. So, the other ones that I've got, Ed at least, are Rain, SCP-3300, Listening Post, SCP-3034, Hunt for Bismarck, 4217, The Yule Man, which, I mean, you could probably guess that the Yule Man is fairly Christmassy, which is 4666, and What Happened to Site 13, 1730. I've been warned that What Happened to Site 13 is very long. I brought it up anyway. Thank you, Paxlax. That's perfect. I rarely use the pinning feature. I always forget about it. Hello, Bombs. Welcome in. Sorry if the stories are a little, strange. They're meant to be not fully clear. Quite a short one if you want that. I mean, yeah, throw it at me. All is great, IMO. Yeah, I know, you're the one that suggested it to me. Let me see. There's all these access documents as well that are inside, and I'm not sure if I should read those or not. So you can live in the light. Okay. Oh yeah, that's nice and short. We'll do that one as well. In fact, we'll do that one right now. An Eldritch Horror snippet if you want to read in Comprehension Acrobatics. Oh boy. I'm not gonna say no. So I'll change this to, so, what was it? You can live in the light? It's disappeared. Why is that disappeared? It's gonna need to be smaller though. Yeah, that's fine. That will do. Listening to while you getting smashed in Hunt is calming. Oh, lovely. And you're playing a Souls-like NCR. Fantastic. Both good games to play. It's Halloween. Back in the zone. So you can live in the light. Dear Miss Jacobs, it is with the deepest regret that I write to you today. Your son, Mickey, has been killed in action in the course of his duties under my command. The loss of a child is difficult for any parent, yet you should know that Agent Mickey Jacobs was one of the finest men I ever commanded. Mick was dutiful and kind, with an easy smile. A smile he professed on several occasions he got from you. The impact that his loss has had on us can only be a fraction of that which you must now be experiencing. His devotion to the principles of honor and self-sacrifice lived in every part of his life. And it was self-sacrifice of the highest order that led to his death. It is left to me, then, to provide my fullest devotion to the principle of honor. And it is that honor that demands from me a truthful retelling of the events which led to his passing. First, in the interest of frankness, your son was not a security guard for a lumber company. Your son is a hero. On August 18th of this year, your son was stationed at one of our organization's facilities in South Alabama. A security breach occurred in one of our high-risk sectors, and your son was sent in as part of a team of individuals to stop the threat. Your son was at the front of a formation of 7 agents when an automated door sealed him inside the facility without his team. With no support and spotty communication, your son made his way towards danger, providing fire support for the site's security staff on one of the lower levels. He was then tasked by the site director to rescue several of our research staff from the monsters that now roamed the site. He was killed during the final rescue of these staff. Today, a dozen of our best minds are still alive because of your son. I cannot begin to understand the sorrow you must feel now. But know that your son's death was not in vain, and that he will be remembered by all those who knew him as a brave, dutiful, and honorable man. Sincerely, and most remorsefully yours, Agent Jonathan Bradley. Site 88's InfoSec AI has detected an attempt to disseminate classified materials, intercepting, redirecting, and replacing with InfoSec-approved cover story. Agent Jonathan Bradley is to be reprimanded for this attempt. Dear Miss Jacobs, enclosed is the remainder of Mickey Jacobs' severance pay, as you are listed as Mr. Jacobs' emergency contact. We trust you to remit this payment to him in our stead. It should be noted that despite Mr. Jacobs' recent problems with drug addiction and sudden disappearance, we will be willing to provide rehabilitation services at any time should he return. Thank you for your time. Chief of Security, Jonathan Bradley, Southern Crosscut Pines. See, I liked that one more. To me, it read a lot better. It just shows you a little bit about how the Foundation is trying to keep its CPs a secret, I guess. Yes, if there's any more like that, I will happily read those as well. On to the next. Does this one look? May do. What was 3300 again? That was rain. May do rain. Because it is mostly a personal account, similar to what we just read. Yeah, I'll do rain next. Item number, SCP. Actually, wait, what's the best way to say this number? 3300? Yeah, 3300 probably. Object classed, Euclid? Probably Euclid. Special containment procedures. Containment of SCP-3300 is focused on observation and ensuring it does not spread from the affected area. A mobile observation post has been set up 5 kilometers outside the town of Clearwater, Montana, for this purpose. Attempts at manned exploration of SCP-3300 events are currently suspended. When the SCP-3300 event begins, the observation team will fall back to a point 10 kilometers from the town border and continue observation. Any unusual activity is to be noted. Any attempts made by outsiders to enter or exit the area will be halted. Non-lethal force is authorized for this purpose. Instances of SCP-3301 attempting to leave Clearwater will be detained and interviewed under the pretense of a police search. Following this, they will be allowed to continue their travel under Foundation observation. All personnel involved in the containment of SCP-3300 are prescribed a weekly dose of Class Y Nestix? Difficult words. Description: SCP-3300 is an annual event in which the populace of Clearwater, Montana, henceforth SCP-33-1, 3300-1, disappears and is replaced by a new set of citizens. The SCP-3300 event typically occurs in the mid-portion of June and lasts 6 to 18 days. The first 48 hours of each event are marked by a light, continuous rain over the entire city. The rain is stationary and appears regardless of the weather in the surrounding area. This portion of the event ends when the rain transitions to a severe thunderstorm, lasting for the remaining duration of SCP-3300. The interior of an SCP-3300 event past this point has never been observed. Any attempt by the Foundation to explore the event has ended in either a total loss of personnel, equipment, or a failure to even enter the phenomena. Several times, personnel entering SCP-3300 have emerged instantaneously on the other side. When the SCP-3300 event ends, all previous SCP-3300-1 instances will have been replaced by new iterations with completely new appearances, personalities, and memories. Beyond remarking on the unusually severe nature of the storm, new instances show no recollection of the event. Instances of SCP-3300-1 behave identically to baseline human beings. However, no record of any instance prior to their appearance from an SCP-3300 event exists. Instances will occasionally share names, professions, certain memories, and broad personality traits with those from previous iterations of SCP-3300. However, no SCP-3300-1 instance has been observed repeating from previous events. SCP-3300-1 instances are unaware of their anomalous nature and the circumstances surrounding their existence. Physical and post-mortem examinations reveal no differences from baseline humans. Instances of SCP-3300-1 outside of the town, when SCP-3300 occurs, will disappear several days after the event begins. All attempts to observe this disappearance have failed. SCP-3300 is accompanied by a moderate cognitohazardous effect. Outside citizens learning about the existence of the town of Clearwater or its citizens will give little thought to them unless the subject is brought to their direct attention. This effect affects focus rather than memory. Those affected do not forget that Clearwater exists, but rather show difficulty paying attention to it. Outside, citizens familiar with disappeared instances of SCP-3300 will not comment on their absence unless reminded, and even then show little concern. The history of SCP-3300 is unknown. Records of its existence go back to the beginning of the Foundation. Despite this, almost no progress has been made in attempts to research the phenomena. Addendum. The following journal was recovered in the aftermath of the SCP-3300 event, ending on 30th June 1995, and represents one of the few descriptions of what occurs during the phenomena. The writer of the document has been identified as SCP-3300, 1995, 4307, aka Margaret Lane. The events described in the journal are unverified. Attempts to automatically observe the interior of an SCP-3300 event are still underway. Hey, if Kurt Cobain kept a journal, it can't be that bad of an idea, right? Help express my artistic side or something. Finally get all the writing I've wanted to do. What? Okay, that's poorly written. That's not me. That one wasn't me. I don't know. Mom said it might be a good way to focus things, which means she just wants an easy way to snoop and make sure I'm staying clean. Joke's on her, though, if she ever thinks she's going to be able to find this. Still, I guess it could be nice to have something to look back on. Hopefully to remind myself that things got better. There's a dream I've been having, which is weird, because I don't usually remember my dreams. I've had this one like 3 times in the past week. In it, I'm not myself. I'm in a small hut, standing above the bed where my daughter lies. Her skin is red, blotchy, hot. I'm praying that the disease won't take her, praying that she will recover, or that it is some other sickness. It's no use, I know. The corpse of my husband won't let me forget. Another of the healthy... Another of the healthy? Okay. Another of the healthy, a boy who thinks himself a man, pulls us together, the few that remain. I gaze around the room and see the same expressions on their faces that I feel in my heart. All except the boy's. He grins as we enter, and gesture to the bowl of water in front of him. I have found it, he says. The key to our salvation. And then it ends. Weird, right? No idea what to make of it. Anyway, I'm heading to Sam's, so this will be it for the day. Grey clouds on the horizon. We need the rain. I can't remember what the sun looks like. Joking. But it's been drizzling for 3 days, and it doesn't look like it's gonna let up soon. Phones are patchy as hell too. Radio says we can expect the weather to continue for at least a week. David tried to come earlier today, and I told him to fuck right back off to the ditch he crawled out of. But I didn't care how good the shit he'd gotten his hands on was. He did his whole kicked puppy dog routine, but eventually left before Mum noticed. Thank God. The rain's kind of relaxing, actually. It's got a rhythm to it. I could get used to this. I don't think it's ever stormed this hard in my life. It's 2 in the afternoon, but looking outside, you'd swear it was midnight. My throat is starting to get sore from shouting over the noise. No idea what the hell happened. 1 minute it was drizzling. The next, someone flipped a switch to dump the entire Pacific Ocean onto our heads. Internet and phone are completely down. The few seconds of clear radio we can get is just a barrage of tornado and flood warnings. Nothing to do but hole up inside and see how many games of Monopoly we can play until Mom kills me or I kill myself. I swear some of the people in this town must be absolutely insane, because sometimes, when lightning flashes, I can see them walking around outside. Some of them just standing there. I'm writing this from the back of Jared's van. We're going like 80 miles an hour down the highway, and Isabel's crying next to me. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I think I'm going to die. I'm going to keep writing though. My hand shakes less when I write. It couldn't have been more than an hour ago that this happened. We were all at my place. Sam, Jared, Mike, and Isabel had all come over. I hadn't expected them, but Jared insisted he wasn't going to let something tiny like a biblical flood stop us from exploring the bottom levels of the dread Lich Osganoth's domain. Stupid. So we rolled up and started playing like everything was normal. Sam DMing with the stupid little monster accents she does. Isabel and Mike arguing over every scrap of treasure and possible trap we came across. Jared struggling just to keep us all from killing each other. Mom in the other room, pretending she wasn't listening in. It was Isabel who first noticed the banging on the door, like someone trying to break it down. At first, we weren't sure what to do. Okay, I don't know if that got picked up on my mic, but I believe my upstairs neighbor just dropped something pretty much precisely when it said, anyone banging that hard on the door, yada yada, right? That spooked me a bit. There it is again. Stop dropping things. Anyway, it was Isabel who first noticed the banging on the door, like someone trying to break it down. At first, we weren't sure what to do. Anyone banging that hard on your door so late is going to be suspicious, even if there's not a fucking hurricane outside, right? So we just sort of sat there staring at each other, till Jared got up and grabbed a poker from the fireplace and went to check the peephole. I wonder what his first thought was. Surprise? Confusion? Did he just accept it like I did? Too stunned by the weirdness to question when he opened the door and saw a family on our porch. A mom, dad, 2 kids. I'd never seen any of them before. For a second, we all just stared at each other. Then the dad shoved past Jared and said, "Why are you in my house?" Mom had come out of her room when she first heard knocking, and the guy said that she flipped out instantly. When the guy said that, she flipped out instantly. "What do you mean your house, asshole? This is my house. What the hell are you doing just barging in here? I swear to God, you've got 10 seconds before I get the cops over here." I remember being annoyed, embarrassed, wishing she wouldn't flip out over everything. The dad's expression didn't change. He stepped forward, and Jared tried to hold him back. When he did, the dad just flung him, snagged Jared by the collar, and tossed him through the living room into the kitchen. Jared smacked into a counter and went limp, and the dad said again in the exact tone, "Why are you in my house?" That was when Mom charged him with a golf club. He barely had time to react before she swung it into his chest. For a second, she looked pleased with herself. I'm sure she was already forming the story to tell all her friends about how she fought off the home invader. When she tried to pull the golf club back, and she couldn't, the expression disappeared. The guy didn't look a little bit hurt, not even fazed. The club was stuck in his chest, and the skin around it was rippling, like when you throw a stone into a pond. Water dripped out from where the metal entered skin. Mom stared. Then she screamed, fell back, scrambling at the floor to get away. The man looked down at the club with the same expression you might look at a dead cockroach. He grasped it right below where it speared into him, yanked it from his chest, held it as he walked towards Mum. She stopped moving the first time he hit her in the head. She just fell, like a rock. He hit her again, and again, and again. And the whole time he was saying, my house, in the same fucking tone. The only fucking way he knew how to speak, and the kids were standing in the door just watching. The wife was holding them close, and I swear to God she was smiling. Sam stood up, like she was going to charge the guy, but Mike wrapped himself around her and said don't, that we had to run. So we did. Mike and Sam grabbed Jared even though he wasn't moving. I grabbed the journal without even thinking about it. I don't really remember anything after that, except Sam driving and crying, and Mike screaming, and all I could think about was the way my mom's body looked as she fell. The light disappearing from her eyes before her body hit the floor. We drove right to the police station. Me and Mike decided to go inside, while Sam and Isabel watched Jared. The lights were on, but the station was locked with no one inside. We walked around, looked through every window. Nothing. When we got back to the car, Jared still wasn't awake, and his breathing was all fucked up. So we discussed it and decided to take him to the hospital in Landhart. It's only a 2-hour drive. We should be there soon. We'll be okay. We've been driving for 6 hours now. We're almost out of gas. Jared still isn't awake, and we haven't made it to Landhart yet. We've doubled back twice, looked for road signs, building lights, anything to tell us where the fuck we are. There's nothing. No signs, no cities, not even a gas station. We haven't passed another car since we left my house. Rain's falling just as hard out here. Mike says we need to turn around, try to get back to town before we get stranded. Isabel says that's crazy. We need to keep looking for the hospital, and we don't have enough to make it back anyway. Sam says she's going to keep driving. That's all we can do at this point. Jared's dead, and we're out of gas. The car died maybe an hour ago. Maybe half an hour after that. No idea where we are. We decided to double back, see if we had passed the hospital again. There was nothing. Isabel and Mike are going at it, each convinced this is the other's fault. Sam's ignoring them. She's sitting by Jared, holding his hand. She hasn't looked away from him since he stopped breathing. Hasn't said 10 words since we left town. I must have fallen asleep because I had another dream. I knew instantly it was a continuation from before. It was too clear, too substantial to be anything else. And even though I knew it was a dream, I couldn't do anything but watch. I stand, ankle deep in a vast, clear river. I'm holding the corpse of my daughter. Not sure how I recognize her, as taken by the sickness as she is. Her hair has fallen out. Her skin is entirely covered in black scabs that hid even her eyes. Flecks of cracked skin fall away as my arms rub against her body. But for some reason, as I look at her, I don't feel sorrow. I feel hope. I kneel and place her body into the water. It drifts on the surface. The water engulfs her, makes her a part of it. She becomes the current that takes her, and I know it will sweep her to the sea. She can finally be at peace. But the work isn't done. I turn, wade back to shore where the blackened body of my husband waits. As I do, I become cognizant of the others. Survivors. Each has with them the bodies of their children, families, friends. 18 survivors. Hundreds of bodies. One by one, we take them to the river, until only we remain. I woke up to the sound of Jared evaporating. It took me a moment to realize what was going on. The others were all scrambling around the body, but I couldn't get a good look. All I could see was the steam filling the car. When I pushed my way through, I saw his body was boiling. That's the best way to describe it. bubbles writhing and popping across the surface of his skin, drops of water leaping off him and burning where they touched us. The shape of him almost completely gone, aside from a vaguely human-looking lump within his clothing, and some ridges that might have been facial features. Sam tried to touch the water to, I don't know, stop it? Save him? Catch him? The heat of the steam pushed her back. All we could do was watch as Jared fizzled away, until the only thing left of him was vapor and soaked clothing. We decided to leave. Or Mike and Sam decided to leave, and Isabel and I realized we didn't have any choice but to follow. I mean, what difference did it make? Stay or go, the outcome would be the same. But I figured trying to find something out there might be better than staying in the car until we all starved to death. We grabbed the flashlight from the glove box and headed out. We couldn't have walked more than a mile before we reached the town. Almost bumped into Mike when he stopped walking after shining the light onto the "Welcome to Clearwater" sign. He didn't say anything. What could he say? We turned around, starting walking the other way. Not sure how far. 2 miles? 3? We didn't pass the car, but it didn't matter. We ended up back at the sign. The city. Sam turned, walked off the highway and into the farmland surrounding it. We followed. We knew it wouldn't work, but we followed anyway. On the other side of the field, we found ourselves back on the highway, in front of the sign. Mike insisted he wasn't going back in. No fucking way. He'd rather take the risk out in the rain and spend another second with whatever was in that city. We pointed out that whatever was in the city was pretty clearly outside of it too, and at least the city had food. He wouldn't listen. So we started walking, and 3 minutes later, he caught up. Didn't say a word. The lights in the town were all on, but there were no people, no cars. A few times I thought I saw movement, but it was always just a branch or piece of trash picked up by the wind. We were on alert the whole time. Nothing happened. We decided to... Oh dear. We decided to hole up in Dirk's Sporting because it had guns and was right next to the grocery store. Sam and Mike went and grabbed food, while Isabel and I, meaning just I, took stock of the store. When the others came back, we started working out shifts to sleep in. 2 awake at the same time. I volunteered for the first...
You have returned.
What the fuck? I muted those... Hello, 97. I muted those. Why did they play? Wayne Jr. cannot be stopped, you're right. Fuck. Well, no one subscribe for the foreseeable. I'm gonna finish the story, we're not far off. We decided to hole up in Dirk's Sporting because it had guns and was right next to the grocery store. Sam and Mike went and grabbed food, while Isabel and I, meaning just I, took stock of the store. When the others came back, we started working out shifts to sleep in. 2 awake at the same time. I volunteered for the first shift, even though I felt like I wanted to collapse. I just couldn't stand to dream again. Mike shot himself. We're a lot more fucked than I first thought. For a while, I was still holding on to the idea of survival. There was some sort of exit to whatever fucked up situation we'd found ourselves in. There isn't. I don't think there ever was. This is the only ending I could have hoped for. But if I keep thinking about what I'm going to go... But if I keep thinking about that, I'm going to go fucking insane. So, Mike. He's dead. We were on shift together when he got up and said he'd be back in a minute. Figured he was just going to the bathroom until I heard the gunshot. I got there about 20 seconds before Sam and Isabel. His body was slumped against a wall, shotgun barrel stuck in his mouth. There was no blood. I thought he'd missed or accidentally discharged it, till I saw the hole in the back of his skull. I realized there was something splattered on the wall behind him, but it wasn't blood. It was water. Isabel screamed when she saw the body. I heard her gasping and ignored her. Sam knelt next to me, close enough that I could feel her trembling. For a moment, the only noise was her ragged breathing and Isabel's whispers. Then, Sam reached out and ran her fingers along the rim of Mike's skull. She drew them back, stared. A small noise rose from the back of her throat. Her fingertips were coated in water. Before I could react, she thrust more fingers into the wound. Water ran down her hands as she dug through what should have been his brain. Water sloshed in the chalice of his skull. When we lowered his body to the rest, on the floor, it was water that pooled on the wood. Sam leaped up, ran to the counter, snatched a knife from its sheath, and held it to her arm. We stared at each other. I didn't want her to do it. I didn't want to see what would happen. She sliced open her arm and water spilled from the wound. We stared at the injury, too distracted to notice Isabel calling to us. It wasn't until she ran over and yanked on my sleeve that I remember she existed. "Outside," was all she said. Hundreds of people had gathered outside the window, moving silhouettes, staring through the darkness, filling the street. When the lightning flashed, I saw the faces of strangers, soaked by the rain. They'd been there for 2 hours now. Haven't moved an inch. They're outside every window, every exit. I don't know how long they're willing to wait. I'm damn sure it's longer than we have. Maybe Mike had the right idea. Sam left, and we didn't bother to stop her. She muttered something before she stood and marched out of the door. I remember thinking as I watched her leave that I should do something. I should reach out, or call to her, or block her exit. But the thought wouldn't make it past my brain, like there was a wall between my nerves and my body. So I just stared as she stepped into the rain. The silhouettes shifted as soon as she was outside. They opened up to let her through. She vanished into them, into the dark. I don't want to go back. That's what she said before she left. In my dream, I am the storm, and I am screaming. The wind whips at me like razors raking through my body. The frozen rain bites at my skin. Except I don't have a body. I don't have skin. The wind is a part of me. The rain is from me. Every second I rip myself apart and reform and reshape until I am scattered over miles of storm, trapped in the royal. Around me, I hear the screams of my village. I feel their presence against mine, just as much a part of the storm as I. We fight, struggle, but the storm cannot be broken. It hurtles over the land, dragging us in its wake. And then I am falling, rushing to meet the ground. For a moment, the earth embraces me. I remember what it felt like to feel the dirt beneath my feet and the sun on my skin and the crisp air in my lungs. Until the storm steals me again, and I am pulled back into the screams of my comrades. I woke up, and Isabel was gone. Just a puddle of water on the floor. I think the rain is speaking to me. I can hear it ever since I woke up. I don't know what it's saying, but the whispers in my ear are getting louder. When I cover my ears, it's still there. If I scream, it rises over the screaming. I'm trying to write just to focus on anything else, but the fucking voice is still there. I know what it wants me to do. It wants me to join it. I'm its child, and it misses me. It can't bear to be apart. What can I do? What can I do? The strangers are still outside, watching me, waiting for my choice. Because they know what my choice will be, don't they? There's only one way this can end. I can wait and starve, or shoot myself, or slice my wrists, or walk out into the rain. But it's all going to end the same way. Water is eternal. Water will remain, no matter how polluted it becomes. At the end, we all become rain. I don't want to go back. Oh boy. Not sure what to think about that one. Hello, lass. Okay, now I can actually say hello to what was going on and find out why the sub alerts are still on too. 97. Hello, mama. Although I think you had to run immediately. That was long. There are longer ones, honestly. But yes, I may need to get some shorter ones going. Oh, I did get raided. Yes, I do a little shout out. Thank you, Mama. I really appreciate it. Sorry that I was busy reading a story. What do you think to that? Good story? Bad story? I think I kind of like the concept. It gave me WandaVision vibes, in a sense. That there's like a fake town, and everyone's made of water. I think the writing was mid. Yeah. Yeah, NCR, yeah, agrees. And now I'm eyeing my glass of water suspiciously. Okay. Okay, so we did that one. We did that one. did this one. Now, Bismarck is just as long, if not longer. So we may need to skip that one, I'm afraid. How long are all of these additionals that are on here? There's a lot of additionals, okay. Honestly, I most of these SCP stories, I don't know how to read. Because, like, if I were to show you... I mean, hold on. Hold on now. Soon. No, wrong one. This one. And then I'll switch over to the other screen. Oop. Like, look at this, right? This is one of Sleepless's favorites. It's SCP-1730, which is... Shit, what was it called? What Happened to Site-13? Now you've got this, which is fair enough. You could read this fairly easily, even though it's like broken up into containment updates. But then you have all of these access files that are emails and things. I don't know how to read that in a way that would make sense on stream. Needs editing. Oop. There's a lot of them. I think what I need is more, like, personal accounts, like, so you can live in the light. This I enjoyed, and it was simple to actually read. Otherwise, all these other ones are pretty tough. Pace yourself, good sir. I shall. Thank you. Hello, Chivich. That's why I drink rum. Good choice. Is it Kraken? Do like me some Kraken rum every now and then. Alright. Let's find another one. How long have we been reading? Hour and a half? Kraken is the good stuff. Damn right. Damn right. I believe it would be Tails, that are more so like the one that you suggested, NCR. You... Tails Hub. And then... Really like Plantation Rum? I don't know that I've had it, to be honest. Is there also a way to... This website confuses me. This is why I just stick to visual novels. Sales Hub series? Featured series? Okay. Ooh. Content warning on that one. Let's not go for that. That one is incredibly long. Okay. SCP-548. Requiem for Ice Spider. Someone have a story? Where might one send it? You could just throw it into chat. That's a-okay. Thank you for asking. Let me give this one a little read. SCP, what did I just say? 548. This one shan't take me long. Requiem for Ice Spider. Ah! It's already been 2 hours. Again. Yes, feel free to just throw any suggestions into chat or tell me what the title is and I'll Google it. That's easier. I missed out an E. Okay, let me quickly go through this one. And afterwards, I'll check out your suggestion packs. Requiem for Ice Spider. It's not much of a funeral, but it's more than most spiders get. SCP-548, nicknamed Ice Spider, its caretakers. First, fuck. Need more water. First derisively, eventually, affectionately, is dead. Dr. Chelsea Elliott and Dr. Zin Kiryu are the only two in attendance. Dr. Elliott didn't discover SCP-548, but she's been one of its longest caretakers. Rather, the longest-running staff member responsible for its containment. It's hard to keep track of, with all the promotions and reassignments and her own near brushes with containment. Dr. Kiryu came along to provide emotional support. Both of them are in standard issue lab coats. SCP-548 lies in repose, in a shoebox lined with foam, on a counter in the laboratory. It's a blue spider. We are gathered here today, Chelsea says, to say goodbye, Spider. SCP-548, Zin says, half informatively, half admonishingly. SCP-548-D, Chelsea says, half jokingly back. I think it would be SCP-548-N, Zin says. It died of old age. 16 years, Chelsea says. 16 long years. Longer than most tarantulas. She carefully, almost reverently, picks up the shoebox lid and places it on top of the shoebox. Well, Zin says. Any thoughts? Chelsea isn't sure how to start. When I first joined the Foundation, It was small scale. We lived in fear that 173 or 682 would break out of their cells in Site 19. Or we'd see a photo of 096. I know, 096. Maybe we should read that one as well. A guy. Or Zin audibly sighs. Chelsea completely understands the other woman's frustration at hearing these 3 SCP designations, which is exactly why she mentioned them. Bear with me here, Chelsea says. Ice Spider SCP-548 was odd, but it was safe. Almost understandable. Weird for a spider, but an easy anomaly to foist off onto new hires. The Foundation now is almost unrecognizable. Zin chuckles. The old Foundation wasn't kind. Chelsea snorts. Cold, not cruel. That was very much a lie. We were cruel. We threw whatever we could into boxes, except for senior staff. I'm sure you remember. Beth, 239, Kondraki. Zin stiffens, and Chelsea wonders whether she's crossed a line. She knows that Zin's thoughts on Kondraki aren't necessarily as maligned as everyone else's. The two of them share an affinity for butterflies, but Chelsea's not sure whether Zin harbors further sympathies for the man. It was before my time, Zin says after a bit. I'd hoped that once I came, things started to get kinder. And there were always pockets of kindness. Site 43, Director Moose and myself. The Foundation as a whole changed, Chelsea agrees. But the scars of the past, they don't fade. Iris still responds to 105, you know. Zin grimaces. I never was fond of how they treated her. They never gave you a number, did they? They'd moved beyond that by the time I realized I was anomalous, Chelsea says. The whole Alpha 9 initiative and everything that followed. The Foundation adapted. The two of them look at the box. You know, these days, we probably ship something like this over to Wilson's. It's nothing a pair of thick gloves couldn't handle, Zin says. I'm surprised it stayed here so long. She'd been with us through the thick and thin, Chelsea says. And it's been so long that I wanted to make her golden years comfortable. Zin nods. The two women share a moment of silence. Chelsea wonders whether Ice Spider was ever aware of how much the world had changed around it. Whether it had any inkling of just how little fear it inspired in the later years. It was just a spider with cold venom, after all. Hardly anything incredible when you had MTF Tau 5 Samsara flying across the world to strike down gods. I never thought we'd get this far, Zin says, breaking the silence. Samsara, Sloth's Pit, Etra, Esterberg. It told me 5 years ago that we'd be acknowledging that we staffed a site with fairies and wizards and a cat boy. I would have called you a lunatic. It's hard to know what'll come next. I hear this up-and-coming researcher, a Dr. Dune, I think. He's arguing to classify a whole site of anomalies as Yesod. Which one is Yesod again? Chelsea says. In her mind, the only meaningful classes are Safe, Euclid, and Keter. Anomalies that have been incorporated into the Foundation's command structure, Zin says. He's giving them all jobs. Like you and me. Like you and me. Chelsea lays her hand on the shoebox. She wonders if she would produce some aromatic oils, essential oil of spearmint or peppermint, perhaps, in lieu of flowers, but decides against it. She can't think of much to say. Goodbye, Ice Spider. Well, that's it. That's not spooky. That wasn't spooky. So that story was from 2020, right? That's what tab I clicked on. So I guess that whole story is basically just a nod to other SCPs and other famous stories like 096 that are more well known, and then goes into how it no longer is just like creepy pastas that are on the site, and is now just general weird phenomena of all kinds, like an ice spider. Sadly, for someone like me that has very, very little SCP knowledge, close to none, most of that context was lost on me. But I like the title. Let's take a look at 096 whilst we're here. How long is it? Oh, it's not that long. And it has a very good rating, like nearly 4,000. It's a classic. This would have been part of the first series? Okay. Cynical take would be that it sounds like an attempt to boost your own content by referencing others. Sure. Yeah. Believe that too. Could be both. Some SCP are a bit too SCP self-referential. I mean, that's kind of what happens when you build lore over so many years, right? 096 is old enough to be in the old SCP Containment Breach game. Well, then we'll read it, shall we? And by the time we're done with this, it'll be about 2 hours. Already, we'll be going. I did originally say I wanted to limit myself to a couple of hours. It's reading non-stop. Doesn't do great things for your voice. But we'll see how I feel. Let's change this. What was it called again? Shy Guy? When I first learned about this one today, I actually wasn't all that impressed with it. I was like, kind of violent. And then I got more and more into it as I was doing my research into it. I was like, okay. Actually is just a shy guy. SCP-096. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-096 is to be contained in its cell, a 5 meter by 5 meter by 5 meter airtight steel cube at all times. Weekly checks for any cracks or holes are mandatory. There are to be absolutely no video surveillance or optical tools of any kind inside SCP-096's cell. Security personnel will use pre-installed pressure sensors and laser detectors to ensure SCP-096's presence inside the cell. Any and all photos, video, or recordings of SCP-096's likeness are strictly forbidden without approval from Dr. Redacted and O5 Redacted. Description: SCP-096 is a humanoid creature measuring approximately 2.38 meters in height. Subject shows very little muscle mass, with preliminary analysis of body mass suggesting mild malnutrition. arms are grossly out of proportion with the rest of the subject's body, with an approximate length of 1.5 meters each. Skin is mostly devoid of pigmentation, with no sign of any body hair. SCP-096's jaw can open to 4 times the normal of an... Let's try that again. SCP-096's jaw can open to 4 times the norm of an average human. Other facial features remain similar to an average human, with the exception of the eyes, which are also devoid of pigmentation. It is not yet known whether SCP-096 is blind or not. It shows no sign of any higher brain functions. It is not considered to be sapient. SCP-096 is normally extremely docile, with pressure sensors hit inside its cell, indicating it spends most of the day pacing by the eastern wall. However, when someone views SCP-096's face, whether it be directly, via video recording, or even a photograph, they'll enter a stage of considerable emotional distress. SCP-096 will cover its face with its hands and begin screaming and babbling incoherently. Approximately 1 to 2 minutes after the first viewing, SCP-096 will begin running to the person who viewed its face, who will from this point on be referred to as SCP-0961. Documented speeds have varied from 35 kilometers an hour to redacted kilometers an hour, and seems to depend on the distance from SCP-0961. At this point, no known material or method can impede SCP-096 progress. The actual position of SCP-0961 does not seem to affect SCP-096's response. It seems to have an innate sense of SCP-0961's location. Note: this reaction does not occur when viewing artistic depictions. See document 0961. On arriving at SCP-0961's location, SCP-096 will proceed to kill and data expunged. SCP-0961. 100% of cases have left no traces of SCP-0961. SCP-096 will then sit down for several minutes before regaining its composure and becoming docile once again. It will then attempt to make its way back to its natural habitat. Data redacted. Due to the possibility of a mass chain reaction, including breach of Foundation secrecy and large civilian loss of life, retrieval of subject should be considered alpha priority. Dr. Redacted has also petitioned for immediate termination of SCP-096, the interview 0961. Order is waiting approval. Termination order has been approved and is to be carried out by Dr. Redacted. Audio log from interview 0961. Interviewer, Dr. Redacted. Interviewed, Captain Redacted, former commander of Retrieval Team Zulu 9A. Retrieval Incident 0961A. Captain Redacted. You know, for this, I'll just call them Captain and Doctor. It always sucks ass to get initial retrieval duty. You have no idea what the damn thing is capable of besides what jacked up information the field techies can scrape up. And you're lucky if they even tell you the whole story. They told us to bag and tag. Didn't tell us jack shit about not looking at the damn thing. Doctor, could you describe the mission, please? Captain. Yeah, sorry. We had 2 choppers, one with my team and one on the backup with Zulu 9B. Doctor Redacted. We spotted the target about 2 clicks north on our patrol path. I'm guessing he wasn't facing our direction, else he would have taken us out there and then. Your report says SCP-096 didn't react to the cold. It was redacted at minus 0 degrees Celsius, something. There's a lot of blanks in this. It's making it hard to read. Actually, it was less, and yes, it was butt naked, and it didn't so much as shiver. Anyway, we landed, approached the target, and Corporal Redacted got ready to bag it. That's when Dr. Redacted called. I turned to answer it, and that's what saved me. The target must have turned, and my whole squad saw it. That's when SCP-096 entered an agitated emotional state? Yep. Interviewed now pauses for a second before continuing. Sorry, got the willies for a second. That's alright. Yeah, well, I never saw its face. My squad did, and they paid for it up the ass. Could you describe it a little more, please? Yeah. It started screaming at us and crying. Not animal roaring, though. Sounded exactly like a person. Really fucking creepy. We started firing when it picked up Corporal and ripped off his leg. He was screaming for our help. Fucking A. Anyway, we were blowing chunks out of the target round after round. Didn't do jack shit. I almost lost it when it started. Data expunged him. That's when you ordered the use of a... Papers I heard moving. This is dumb. 84 Head T launcher? An anti-tank gun. Started carrying it ever since SCP... There's too many redacted in this. This is unreadable. Okay. Since another SCP got loose. I've seen those tear through tanks like tissue paper. Did the same thing to the target. There was significant damage to SCP-096. It didn't even fucking flinch. Kept tearing apart my squad. With half of its torso gone. He draws a large half circle across his torso. But it was taking damage? If it was, it wasn't showing it. It must have lost all its organs. All its blood. But it didn't acknowledge any of it. Its bone structure wasn't hurt at all, though. It kept tearing my squad apart. So no actual structural damage. How many rounds would you say were fired at SCP-096? At least 1,000. Our door gunner kept his GAU-19 on it for at least 20 seconds. 20 fucking seconds. That's 650 caliber rounds pumped into the thing. Might as well be spitting at it. This is when Zulu 9B arrived. Yeah, my squad was gone. Zulu 9B managed to get the bag over its head, and it just sat down. We got it into the chopper and got it here. I don't know how I never saw its face. Maybe God or Buddha or whoever I thought I should, or whoever thought I should live. A jackass. We've obtained an artist's depiction of SCP-096's face. Would you like to view it? You know, after hearing that thing screams, and the screams of my men, I don't think I want to put a face to what I heard. No, just no. Alright, I believe we are done here. Thank you, Captain. Chairs are heard moving. Footsteps leave the room. Captain Redacted is confirmed to have left interview room 22. Let this be on record that I formally requesting SCP-096 be terminated as soon as possible. End log. When you redact so many things in a story, how am I supposed to read it? They should have, these writers, these authors, they should have foreseen this. They should have known that I was going to read it on stream. Dr. Redacted. He's all over the place. He's just a shy little guy. He just doesn't want to be seen. You can look at his hands and his feet. Just don't look at his face. I don't like it. There's a video on this on YouTube. There's a video on of a lot of these on YouTube. So the early SCPs have a black bar fetish. 097 is a good one. Oh, hold on. 097. Old Fairgrounds. Old Fairgrounds. Oh, wait. I'm waiting. Allow me to switch to the screen while I drink. I can hate these numbers. Where are Shy Guys? 096. Yeah. Let me just have a look through these first 100 then. See if I recognize any. Time-traveling train? What is Thomas getting up to now? Shadow person? The concrete man? Blue lady cigarettes? Zombie plague? How is that only number 8? Ooh, the living room. But living is in quotation marks. It's got a lot of data expunged as well. What is love? Daily grind. Permission to post a link? Go right ahead, Pax. Absolutely. 1609 is a good one. Old Man is also good. I don't remember what number Old Man is. No, you told me about it.
You have returned.
Damn it. Well, if there was ever time to subscribe, Mate, you did it at the right time. Thank you for resubscribing for 34 months. What is love? Daily grind, don't hurt me no more. Love it. Welcome in. Hope you're doing good. I don't think I can turn off the alert sounds. No, fuck it. Happy spooky season. Huh. Have I been trick or treated today, sir? No, I haven't. It says that I need a password to use that site. Pax. I see it's called, it says Pax Temp Story. Is this something that you've written yourself? It's me. Am I the password? Oh, I am. Oh! Yeah, this was the Eldritch thing that you mentioned earlier. Fuck yes. I love me some Eldritch horror stuff. Just immediately my eyes wandered to Arkham and Miskatonic University. Fantastic. Alright. Well, thank you, Pax. That is the key. Alright, okay. Very exciting. We will end off on this one then. Does it have a title? It does. Currently reading the Obsidian Lamentations of Arkham. Obsidian Lamentations of Arkham. Does it fit? Almost. Perfect. Thank you very much, Maxlax. Stretch? Okay. Just because you caught me before I started reading, I will stretch. Oh. But seeing as we're at the 2-hour mark now, I'll make this the last story so that I don't completely burn out my voice and therefore can no longer earn money. That would be bad. Let's stretch those lungs before the dramatic story. You're right. Okay. This one won't take terribly long. It's only short. The Obsidian Lamentations of Arkham. In the quaint cobblestone streets of Arkham, where antiquity melds seamlessly with the present, there exists an alleyway shrouded in perpetual twilight, untouched by the ceaseless march of time. Dr. Lucius Caldwell, an eminent professor of Miskatonic University, with an insatiable thirst for the esoteric, found himself inexorably drawn to this passage on an evening of peculiar meteorological unease. As he ventured deeper into the alley, the very air grew viscous, imbued with an oppressive malevolence. The ambient sounds of the city grew muffled, replaced by a haunting, susurrant chant that seemed to emanate from the fabric of reality itself. The stone walls bore cryptic glyphs, origins antediluvian, pulsating rhythmically as if alive. Drawn forward by a compulsion he could neither comprehend nor resist, Dr. Caldwell stumbled upon an eldritch threshold, an archaic doorway etched with iridescent patterns, standing in defiance of all architectural reason. It beckoned him, promising knowledge both profound and forbidden. Yielding to temptation, he stepped through, only to be enveloped by an abyssal panorama of swirling, chaotic hues, where geometry lost meaning and time flowed like treacle. Before him coalesced an entity of incomprehensible proportions and grotesqueness, an amalgamation of tentacles, ever-shifting faces, with countless eyes and wings that spanned the horizons of this alien dimension. The horror, christened in forgotten eons, and resonating with the lamentations of countless souls, turned its myriad eyes upon the Doctor. Their gaze was an intertwining dance of infinite cosmoses and Stygian voids, pulling at the very sinews of his sanity. Dr. Caldwell, caught in this maelstrom of cosmic horror, felt his consciousness stretched across the eons, granted visions of realms where rules of logic and physics were mere playthings for eldritch deities. He witnessed civilizations rising and crumbling before entities whose whims could reshape reality, and where humanity's very existence was but a fleeting, inconsequential thought. In an act of Herculean willpower, or perhaps mere cosmic caprice, the Doctor was abruptly thrust back into the alleyway of Arkham. The Eldritch portal now sealed, leaving no evidence of its malevolent existence. Though he returned to the confines of the new known world, Dr. Caldwell was irrevocably altered. His once lustrous eyes now bore the weight of forbidden knowledge. His speech, though articulate, carried undertones of unfathomable despair. He became a recluse, penning manuscripts that spoke of worlds beyond comprehension, forever haunted by the obsidian lamentations of the entity, the Abyss. To the denizens of Arkham, he became a cautionary tale, a living testament to the perils of delving too deeply into the mysteries that lurk just beyond the fringes of our understanding. That's the end of that little story. I like that a lot. Maybe I should read some Eldritch Horror more regularly, because that was great. You read that so well. Oh, thank you. It was written very well. It kept the pace going, and it was very easy to read. Despite me having an incredibly dry mouth and stumbling several times. So that was on me. The stumbles, I mean. But no matter how much water I drink, my mouth remains dry. I'm gonna stop for now. It's been 2 hours. It's been great. Nice little couple-hour story stream. This creepy music can stop for now. We'll go back to, where do we go to? The Halloween Lo-Fi. Yeah. As we maybe find someone to raid. But perhaps next time then. Ooh, would it? Here's the thing then, actually. Seeing as you guys, are probably much better writers than, many SCP writers. If you have any stories, if I could, like, collect enough, and with your permission, I would happily read them on stream, just as I had done with X's story just then. The Obsidian Lamentations of Arkham. But that'll be for another time. I don't actually know how many of you are writers. Mel's done some writing. I know that much. I'm certain that there's at least a couple of you out there. Neat concept, certainly. Certainly. SCPs are hard. SCPs are hard to read. So I don't know that I'll do another one unless I specifically find many that I like and are easy to read. Hey, we did it. We got through. Let's go say hello to someone, shall we? Who is currently online? They are pretty difficult to turn into this kind of thing. You're absolutely right. There's plenty of good YouTube channels that turn these SCP stories into something, but even those, for the most part, are quite clinical. Or they've vastly adapted the stories into something else. Which is okay. That's fine. Let's go and say hello to Luxury Pigeon. Luxury Pigeon is one of my favorite streamers right now on Twitch, and has been for a while. He's incredible. Nope. That's not how you spell his name. Try that again. He's a sassy British son of a bitch. And I love him greatly. He's wonderful. Very, very kind of like tongue-in-cheek humor. There you go. Ah! Oka, hello. Thank you for your little lurk. But let's go say hi to Oka, shall we? Not Oka. Let's go say hi to Luxury Pigeon. Who's playing City Skylines right now. So, yeah, let's do that. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Next stream will be on Thursday, as I will go back to playing Arise, Simple Story, which is a little indie game about finding your loved one in the next life. So that'll be nice. That'll be nice. I'm going to hit that raid button now. Yeah, stay safe and happy Halloween, everybody. Ooh. Okay, bye.